Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Scholar's Mate and how to defend against the Scholar's Mate in particular. And not just that, we're going to be looking to aggressively counter this attack. So anyone who has been playing chess for a while will have seen this position or a similar position where white tries to go for a quick checkmate on f7 here with the bishop and the queen. This can be very annoying to deal with if you don't know how to respond to it. If you instinctively try to just attack the queen here, it's simply mate. So quite a tricky situation. And I'm going to show you guys a very good weapon to use against this this cheap trick is kind of what it is. It's not supposed to work, bringing the queen out early. So we're looking not to just defend, but really punish this setup from white. Now, taking it back here from the starting position, this Scholar's Mate attack usually arises from e4, e5, and now the most aggressive move is queen to h5. So they can start with bringing the queen out first. They can also start with bringing the bishop out first, but this is probably the more aggressive and the more common. So after queen to h5, we already know what they're going for, but for now, f7 is actually sufficiently defended. And if you're already worrying about defending f7, this is a very instinctive blunder, apparently, because a lot of lower rated players play g6 here, which is a big blunder. Now you get forked and you lose at least a rook, and it's just a terrible position. So don't do that. Instead, we have time now to just develop a piece and simultaneously defend the e5 pawn in the center, which is actually undefended. So we play knight to c6. And now most often you'll see bishop to c4, trying to continue this checkmating attack. Now putting pressure on f7 with the bishop and the queen. Now we can actually play g6 because the center pawn is defended. And most of the times here, we will see white retreat the queen to f3, still looking for checkmate, hoping that now black will just relax and try to normally develop and still win the game in a very quick checkmate on the next move. So we have to stay alert here. The textbook defense here that most people know when they learn this, most popular defense here is knight to f6. And this blocks the queen's line of attack to f7. And after this, black is looking to just quickly develop, maybe fianchetto the bishop, maybe just develop to c5. We can see that the knight might possibly jump to d4 here and already attack the queen, and simultaneously a potential fork on c2. And generally, black should be able to develop quickly. We see good moves also for the light squared bishop to continue harassing that white queen that just came out too early, and black should have a very good game. Now, however, your opponents may be well prepared here and have faced this many times before. So rather than playing knight to f6 here, I recommend a very venomous move, which is f5. And now after white would take this pawn, we can already jump to d4 with the knight, attacking the queen and the fork. Now there is no checkmate threat because white's pawn is blocking the line of attack to f7, and the queen has the move. Now, most of the time, white will play queen to d5 here, trying to continue this checkmating attack in the spirit of the opening, still hoping for a quick win. And we can see from the evaluation bar here that this is completely winning now for black, but it's not because of why you might think. It's not because of this fork, because if we play this, we don't have time to take the rook because of this checkmating threat. So now you would still have to defend against checkmate. If you take the rook, that's mate. And if you try to defend now, you will simply lose a knight. So we can't have that. So hold your horse here. First, we have to defend against checkmate, and the best way to do this is queen to e7. Queen to f6 is also possible, but it would kind of block the natural developing square of the knight on f6. So queen to e7 is the best move, defending the center pawn and defending f7. Now, a couple of continuations may be possible here. It's still more or less equal in material. Actually, white is a pawn up for now. So how is black completely winning? Now, let's see a couple of common responses here that you could expect from white. One of them very popular, knight to f3. And this is attacking the knight, attacking the pawn, which is now twice attacked and only once defended. And it seems like we kind of have to trade here or lose a pawn here in this exchange, or lose a pawn in this exchange. But that's actually not the case. We can just play c6 here, baiting the queen to take the pawn instead of the knight. And if they do, black is now completely winning because of this fork, which comes with check and is removing the defender, the knight, from the defense of the queen here. So after white recaptures, getting out of check, black simply picks up the queen and should be completely winning. Another variation that you may see here is a knight out here. Once again, we can simply play c6, and after the queen retreats, e4 makes sense, still keeping an eye on that c2 square, which is undefended. And we can play d5 now. Already, the engine tells white to just give up a piece, but it doesn't really do anything. If knight takes, now bishop takes, or queen takes, maybe still hoping for a checkmate down the line. And there's many ways to continue here for black. You can go for the fork already, which is a very good move, just winning a lot of material here. But we don't even have to go for this right away. You could think of developing the knight here to f6, once again attacking the queen. And well, this is just completely crushing. Even if white were to continue with something like check, we can maybe exchange, which may be all right, but not even the best move, apparently. It's best to block with the bishop. And now, of course, not trade queens, right? It should make sense at a certain point that we do not want to trade queens in this position, since black is way up in development here after simply capturing with the knight. This king is not looking all too safe. There's threats here, and black just has much more pieces out and developed, and a center pawn. The rook can get active very quickly. The bishop can activate very quickly, and white just has all of their pieces on the back rank. So this should lead to very crushing games. Now, we can imagine a move here from white, maybe something to still defend against his fork before it's too late. But this is not really gonna work very well. We can see knight to c5 continuing to attack the queen. There will be no way to defend against the fork. And well, white is just gonna get kicked around. Just keep in mind that you want to keep harassing the queen while also improving your pieces as much as possible in these variations where the queen comes out too early. That's what we're trying to really punish here as a matter of opening principles. So this queen will now have to go somewhere, and it's basically over at this point. Shouldn't have too much trouble from here. Let's see if there's any other variations that we still need to cover. Now, one move that I have seen before is a bishop to b3, defending against the fork and maintaining a threat of checkmate here if the queen were to move. Once again, we can continue simply with c6. It's not even the best move, but if you're new to chess and you want to learn how to deal with this opening, I really recommend just keeping this in mind. c6 is the way to go. After the queen moves, it doesn't really matter where. We would be very happy if they go to either of these squares, which is actually quite common, because we can simply continue pushing for that big center. And once again, the queen would have to move. let's say they go somewhere. Well, we can already see something like bishop takes here. It's just completely crushing. We develop all the pieces. We can even play something like bishop to h6, attacking the queen again. I didn't even see that right away. I mean, there's going to be so many opportunities to harass the enemy queen, to keep developing your pieces quickly, and you should just have a wonderful attacking position here with black as well. All right, so that's made here, the counter attack. Now, of course, note that Scholar's Mate can come in a different shapes. Sometimes they'll bring out the bishop first, still just play knight to c6, right? So whether it's bishop out first or queen out first, we always go knight to c6, already defending the pawn. And now if they were to play h5, we can play g6 because this pawn is now defended. Remember, not to play g6 before defending that center pawn. If the queen comes out here, they're going to threaten checkmate again, and you will play f5. So from here, we've gone over a couple of variations. So I hope you will put them to good use and crush everyone who tries to beat you with a cheap trick in this Scholar's Mate variation. One last thing to note maybe for the newer players. Of course, here, this is also a Scholar's Mate threat, right? So we always have to be aware of our opponent's last move. Ask yourself, what are they attacking? Are they maybe threatening checkmate in one, especially when the queen's coming out? Here, we can see that g6 and f5 wouldn't really work because g6, you just get checkmated. So you would probably still have to defend with the knight here and just go back to that textbook defense against this Scholar's Mate attack. All right, good luck, and I'll see you for the next one.